What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from Eye of Purgatory, Darkborne. This also came out on Friday, February 13th, this time on Apostasy Records. This is the band's third studio full-length overall, and shock of all shocks, my first time checking this album out. Or this band out, I should say. So, for those that don't know, this is a Swedish death metal slash melodic death metal band, and this is yet another project from the one and only Roger Johansson. I mean, the guy never sleeps. He just plays in like 60 bands and records a bunch of stuff and just gets it all out there for people to listen to. But this is kind of a familiar project for him because this is him as well as Jeremy Kling and Taylor Nordberg, both of which have played with Roga and other bands in the past, and of course, Jeremy and Taylor both in the absence, or were in the absence, as, excuse me, formerly of Massacre, and also currently in Inhuman Condition, while Jeremy is also in Overkill right now. So, yeah, a lot of talent on this album. So, kicking things off with the title track, The Darkborne, right away, I get a lot of familiarity on this, and really across the board on this album, I'm reminded of a lot of stuff that was based in the early 90s. Like, of course, you get your classic Swedish death metal moments, but you also get a lot of melodic death metal, hence why I kind of call this a hybrid of the Gothenburg sound and the Stockholm sound. And the best band I would say to compare this to would be Edge of Sanity. Like, there's a lot of Edge of Sanity moments across the board. And here on this opening track, the opening tremolo definitely feels like something that would have been plucked out of, like, the Spectral Sorrows or Purgatory Afterglow, but done with a more heavy sound. And then it goes into, like, straight up entombed worship with the tremolos and the thrashy beats. I will say, lead work-wise, there's some pretty cool melody on these leads, but they don't really show up that much. I only counted 3 leads on the album, which they were done pretty well. Just wish there could have been more. But it was a cool pace setter for the rest of the album, and then tracks like When the Beacon Turns Black, like this one kinda, I'd say, more so goes for a more old school death metal sound. Like, you get blasts and tremolos and even grooves and dive bombs that, dare I say, kind of remind me of Carnage's Dark Recollections album. Like, it's got that vibe to it, but it's also pretty thrashy here and there, as well as, of course, keeping those Edge of Sanity nods that are all throughout this album. And then, as far as, like, incorporating different aspects, the Rotting Temple does incorporate some more clean melodies to kind of break up the heaviness here and there. Also, some, like, thrashy machine gun riffs on top of a D beat, which, give me all the D beats you can in Swedish death metal. And of course, some more groove coming in as well. And then we go into a track like Body Jumper, like a big, fast triplet gallop with cool push and pull dynamic between the guitars and the synths. The synth work is all over this album, and right away, the synth tone and playing style kind of reminds me of Dan Swano's Moon Tower album. But I will admit, it's not overbearing in the mix. It's actually kind of perfectly in line with the guitars, and it kind of complements the guitars. The song itself, it gets really thrashy, but man, I gotta tell you, this and the track The Slithering both incorporate gigantic melodies that just come out of nowhere. And then moving into tracks like Unbound Flesh, you get back to some more gallops. There's even some more chug on the guitars. Like, this one kind of more so just goes for a straight up death metal sound with the groove and the chug, not so much about the speed. Whereas in the following 2 tracks, Formless Figures Dance and The Best of Them Bleed, those 2 songs definitely have a lot more melodic death metal going on. Whereas, like, Formless Figures Dance definitely sounds like this could have been an Edge of Sanity song released in 93 or 94. But The Best of Them Bleed, this one does incorporate some more off-time grooves to break up that, standard 4/4 time stomp or thrashy beat. And then the closer, The Dark Departure, probably one of the most aggressive songs on the album. Like, it's just fast and thrashy, but with, again, tremolo riffs that kind of feel right in between the Stockholm sound and the Gothenburg sound. So, yeah, overall, I am going to admit, as far as a negative goes, I mean, it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's definitely derivative. I'd say it's a little bit derivative of Edge of Sanity, Carnage, Entombed. But again, when you got a lot of HM2 worship bands, you're definitely going to hear a lot of familiarity to bands along those lines. But here it definitely, again, rubs the line between being inspired and flat out copying something. Thankfully, it doesn't cross that line to where it sounds like, oh yeah, this sounds exactly like a riff I heard on like Left Hand Path or Purgatory Afterglow or Dark Recollections. It doesn't really go into that. It's just like, you could definitely tell this band is wearing the influences on their sleeve. And I understand definitely wanting to keep an Edge of Sanity sound going. However, I don't hear too many bands, apart from, I would say, this band, and to a lesser extent, like Sentient Horror, kind of keeping on the early Edge of Sanity sound. If I think of an Edge of Sanity inspired band, I'm thinking of more of the prog side of that band. But overall, this was still a fun, enjoyable listen. I'm going to give this a 3.5. It's definitely got its moments on here for sure, a lot of great moments, but I will say I do wish there could have been more going on songwriting wise than just what was happening here. But it's still a good album, damn good album. If you are a fan of early Edge of Sanity, Entombed, Carnage, but definitely on the more mellow death side, I'd say check this out. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching, keep your horns high, and your dreams wet.